The following is a presentation of the Matt Talk Podcast Network.
It's a Short Time Wrestling podcast. News, reviews, previews, and interviews from around the sport of wrestling with notable names, notable topics. I'm your host, Hall of Fame wrestling announcer and broadcaster Jason Bryant. Today, we're talking with Dave Miller. He's the founder of Scrap Pack. It's one of those crate type of things. We'll get into what a Scrap Pack is. But first of all, Dave, we've kind of crossed paths in the past when your career wrestling at Ryder and my career as an announcer and media guy at Old Dominion. First of all, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me, Jason.
Holiday season, you've got a product. It's, for those who listen to podcasts, you may have heard about these type of things. Some of them, they're called crates. I know that there's one of the geek shows I listen to, and I say geek in a becoming fashion that's kind of a tech show, and it's like you go get your Star Wars crate, get your pro wrestling crate. Now you've got one for wrestling fans and those in the college and amateur and high school wrestling world. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the idea and how you brought Scrap Pack to life?
So my background's obviously in wrestling. I coach wrestling still. I coach mostly youth, some high school. I still work with a couple college guys when they're home from school. And it kind of just started. I own a CrossFit gym as well. And in the CrossFit community, there's about, I don't even know, 6, 7, 8 different types of subscription boxes. And they vary in price, they vary in quality of products, they vary. Some are women based, some are men based, and it didn't exist in wrestling. So after talking with some of the youth wrestlers that I coach, that I work with, they convinced me that it was a good idea and they'd love to get a box filled with wrestling gear. So last year I started to, well, not last year, 2017, end of, I guess approaching the summertime, I started to reach out to most of the major wrestling brands in the community. So they agreed that it was a pretty good idea. The first meeting I had was with Tom Scully at Adidas Wrestling, and I went up there, spoke with him, and he said it was a great idea. We started to work out some details with how we could work together, and then it's kind of snowball effect from there. But so far it's been good. There's a lot of positive feedback, but I'm obviously trying to expand my reach.
This is also an opportunity for like-minded startups like yourself, if it's a nutrition brand, or if it's a handheld product, or if it's a shirt, or if it's really a place to open the door for startup brands and existing companies to put products in the hands of basically everybody. So what's been the reception from, say, like a startup company? It's like, hey, yeah, this is a great idea, we'd love to jump in.
So so the hard part, I would say, so far is convincing the wrestling brands. Your typical wrestling brands. I've worked with Takedown Sportswear out of Georgia. Who else? Wrestling Mindset. Some other local screen printers that do wrestling stuff. Convincing them that this is going to gain exposure for them. So I just about this. This is my third month in December, and the product that I'm featuring is made by a company called Graps. It's a finger splint system, but they reached out to me actually, and that's the first time that's happened. And it's a product that they're trying to get exposure in the wrestling community. They're already in a little bit of jiu-jitsu, and their main spokesperson is Kurt Angle, and he's got I don't know if you follow the professional wrestling, but he's got a pair of red, white, and blue ones that he wears now in the I don't even know if it is WWE or WWF. That's probably aging me a little bit.
I'm
I don't
with
even know
you
what
there,
to look.
man. I watch SummerSlam '88 like once a month to watch the Ultimate Warrior beat the Honky Tonk Man in like 38 seconds. I still have a fondness in my heart for the old days.
There you go. Yeah, but it's been a once I get over that hurdle, like I say, hey, you're going to get X amount of subscribers that you're putting this product in their hand. Um, and if they like it, obviously you like it enough to sell it. So if they like it, they're going to tell their teammates, friends, whoever. And it's almost free marketing. And I'm sure that's what I started it. Started it because I thought as a youth, in the middle of winter, if I had a box to look forward to filled with wrestling gear that I could try out at practice or matches or wherever, I'd be excited to get it. And obviously help the wrestling community gain more exposure. So you don't have to spend so much money on advertising, in whatever magazine, whatever websites.
Right now, as we record this, just prior to Christmas, we'll be releasing this after Christmas. So the Christmas season's still there. I'm going to steal the National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation line. This is the gift that'll keep on giving the whole year round, Clark.
That's
And
right.
it's
right.
the perfect Christmas gift. If you can go to scrappack.com, that's SCRAPPAC.com. And actually, you've got a promo code for listeners of this episode of the Short Time Wrestling Podcast to kind of entice them to check out the Scrap Pack, and that is Matt Talk 15 gives them 15% off their first order. And when we look at the price point and all that comes in it, wrestling people can be kind of fickle with their money. They sit there and be like, what am I going to pay that much? Oh, that should be this. That should be this. What is the value that they're going to get each month compared to the price they're spending?
So that was so when I was, obviously, I grew up in a town called Southampton, which is a blue collar town in South Jersey, and wrestling was big for us growing up. Kids were tough, but the family, I guess the demographic, the dynamic, it was like if you had a singlet and you had a pair of shoes and a headgear, you're good enough to go for wrestling. So I wanted to keep the price point because I figured that's probably the majority of the case nationwide. So I wanted to keep the price point something that's affordable, but yet get as many things as possible of value in the box for the kids. The price point is right now $34.99. That includes shipping, so there's no shipping on top of that, and they get that's about 50% off of retail price. So they're looking at like $70 to $100 worth of gear. And then there's usually some coupon codes, which obviously they have the option to use or not. And if they use them, then the box is worth more than what the actual products are inside. But I try to fill it. That's my job. So I consult with my youth wrestlers and I say, what do you guys want to see in the box? And they tell me, they're like, oh, this would be awesome. This would be awesome. I go to local tournaments, see what the kids are wearing, using, whatever. And I reach out to those companies, try to get them in the box.
What's been has there been any company that when you call and contact, they're like, wait, really, what? The kids want this? I mean, how much have you helped some of these companies understand market demographics in this respect?
Yeah, that's a tough part too. But it's all, it's a challenge, and I enjoy the challenge of trying to convince them. But the feedback's been good. The companies are gaining exposure. I know that several of the kids that I coach directly are also members of Scrap Pack and subscribe and get these things monthly. And they've already ordered more nutrition products, more water. We have an alkaline water this month. We had a nutrition drink last month, and these kids are reaching out to these companies and ordering cases of these things. So it's been great. It's been a win-win for everyone.
As somebody who has acquired a lot of gear over the years, as of right now, I'm on day 255 of a different wrestling shirt a day. So yeah, 255 straight days. So I'm kind of maybe your target avatar here for the adult that wants to collect stuff too, because there are collectibles can be thrown in there, whether it be limited edition random trading cards that you can create for your local athletes and things of that nature, or have a college like you went to Ryder, something that can brand recognition, and of course the shirts. There's no better advocate or advocacy for the sport of wrestling than wearing a wrestling shirt out in public, because people, wrestling. So when it comes to the apparel and the shirts, that's one thing that I'd be like, okay, that would be cool. That would be cool. That would be cool. How are you working with those brands to say, this is the type of shirt, this is the brand of shirt, or are they all the same shirt each month?
So we're different. We feature a different piece of apparel. It's all the gear in the box is different every month. The first month I included a long sleeve and a short sleeve scrap pack shirt. Right there, you're looking at like $25 and $45 worth of stuff before you even got the Defense soap, their new product. I had that in there. Some supplements from All Force Nutrition. So that's all before you even. So those two T-shirts were before you even got into the products. Last month, I worked with Takedown Sportswear out of Georgia. They included some of their USA Wrestling shirts that they had. So that's in the first 2 months. This month, there's going to be scrap pack socks and a scrap pack winter hat. But I got to get your address so I can ship you out a scrap pack shirt, and you can put it in that rotation.
What am I going to say? Am I going to say no to that? I got an Inside Trip podcast shirt on today. Those guys, like, it's in the mail, and I opened it up, and I was like, and then Earl from D1 College Wrestling's like, he almost like preached the fact that I'm going to wear this tomorrow. So yeah, that's what happened. And I go to my mailbox, and yes, I'm 38 years old. Yes, I order a lot of shirts. Yes, I participate in these school fundraisers and things, and buy shirts for schools that I've never even heard of to support their programs. But yeah, when there's something that there's a box that comes and it's got my name on it, it's still like I'm 12 years old, whether it's from Amazon or whether it's from insert high school in North Dakota here. I get excited. So I know it's for the kid in all of us.
Yeah. Yeah. Who doesn't like a wrestling shirt? My wife still gives me a hard time. She's like, are you really going to keep all these wrestling shirts? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely.
Do you want to see what my closet looks like right now? Because there's
I can only imagine.
Oh man, this doesn't even count the ones that I gave away like 6 years ago when I moved. Actually, geez, longer than that. We're getting old, man. Moved to Colorado in 2009, and I think there was like 400 shirts I gave to Goodwill. It was ridiculous. Now I'm like, man, I think I could go 2 years, but I don't know if I'm going to make it to a year. But as we circle back and talk about your career a little bit as a wrestler, because there's some timely topics in the news here. Your alma mater at Ryder's got a new head coach, but the new coach has been there a long time, John Hange. And first of all, what was it like wrestling for Gary Taylor at Ryder?
So GT, he's a quiet spoken man that when he did come into the room and he spoke, he made sure we listened. He had a lot of little tricks that I still use to this day in the wrestling room. But at that point, he started to lay off of the hands-on type of wrestling and running the practices, and Hange was in full force back then. And then I think closer to the end of my career, Hange got 2 knee surgeries, so it slowed him down as much as it could, because you can't really slow that guy down too much. He's constantly going, and he's constantly got wrestling shoes on and is on a wrestling mat.
And there's a sense of pride to wrestle at Ryder, because that is the signature program at that school. I mean, yes, other sports have had some success, but when people see Ryder wrestling, Ryder's good at wrestling. When they hear that name, they know wrestling.
Yep. Yeah, that's so. Most people don't know that all of Ryder's sports are Division I, and we compete. When we come back from I don't know, like a trip to Iowa. Those guys went this year. They had wrestled Iowa and Iowa State. We come back and tell, some of our friends or people that don't really know the history of rider wrestling. They're like, really? You wrestle Iowa, Iowa State, UNC, all those teams? And I'm like, yeah, we wrestle the best teams in the country. So that's always kind of fun. And then you go to NCAAs and you're in the elevator and they're like, what team do you wrestle for? And we're like, Rider. And then they're like, where's that? so sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad.
Yeah, it's it's one of those things too. And being a New Jersey guy, you look at what Rutgers has done and what Princeton's doing. It's a fun time to be a Division I wrestling fan in the state of New Jersey.
Yeah, it's awesome. Right now, it's. I don't think it's ever been better. When I was in college, we beat Rutgers, we beat Princeton most every year, and then obviously with the hiring of Goodale towards the end of my career, I think I might have been done by then. He obviously has done a great job turning the program around, getting some big time Jersey recruits to stay in state, and then obviously the addition of Joe Dubuque at Ayers first, but then Joe Dubuque, who's obviously a Jersey guy. He's also a good friend of mine, and they're doing a great job at Princeton.
Do the Jersey guys claim the Blair guys like Sean Gray, or is it Blair kind of off on their own island? Yeah, you're from Jersey, but you're not. You're Jersey-ish.
Yeah. So that was always the top. You're a public school kid or you're a Blair kid, and we went to if you're on a freestyle team every year, if you're on a national freestyle team, Jersey team, we went to Blair and stayed at Blair for a couple of days, did a training camp before we actually went out to Fargo, and got to know those guys a little bit more because it is kind of, they compete nationwide. We compete in New Jersey. There's some rules against out of state competition that I don't think should exist, but they do exist. So we wrestle a lot of public school kids and not many preps.
Circling back to what you do since you've gotten out of the college world, so Scrap Pack, is this a developing side hustle that's going to eventually turn into a career? Is this what you're doing full time now?
No, I own a CrossFit gym.
Oh, that's right. You mentioned that. Yeah, my bad on that. So
yeah,
so got the CrossFit. So that's the full time gig.
That's a full time gig right now, and then I coach. I still coach a lot. I run a wrestling club too. It's called Wrecking Crew, and my dad started it back in. It was like a group of dads in our recreation program that started it back in, I think, '93, and then '97 we got our own space, and then it's been going ever since. So I actually now run it right in my CrossFit gym. So I roll the mats out, roll them up, and I'm done. Just got done, like I said in our email, back and forth. I had a private session with, actually had 2 kids today. So I think they're still in there running around. I don't know what they're doing.
Well, that's also curiosity because there's some wrestlers that have gotten into CrossFit once their careers are over. I know that Chris Spieler, who wrestled at Lockhaven, has been into that stuff, and I know Charlie Brenneman's done some of that stuff during off and on after his UFC career. But is there a crossover that's getting maybe CrossFitters to maybe practice or cross train in wrestling, or is that CrossFit culture all CrossFit culture?
You know what? I actually I have a gym. They see me roll out the mats at night. They see me roll them up. Some days we come in and we do gymnastics work, just like typical like wrestling gymnastic stuff, forward rolls, back rolls, cartwheels, all that stuff. That I'm a huge fan of, and I push it a lot for my kids. I feel like when I'm coaching the kids, if they can do that stuff, that when they're wrestling, rolling around, some kids don't know which way is up, and if you can do that gymnastic stuff, then I think that helps tremendously for your athletic ability. But there's been a recent push by members of my CrossFit gym for wrestling instruction, which is, these people have never wrestled a day in their life. They're 30 years old plus, and they're coming to me like, Dave, I want want to learn takedowns and stuff. So the crossover from CrossFit to wrestling is a lot, I guess, less than the crossover from wrestling to CrossFit. Wrestling to CrossFit, I mean, you do a CrossFit workout, you're basically doing it for a wrestling match's time, basically. So you give me a 7-minute workout of pull-ups and whatever, I'll do that very well. You give me 25-minute workout with heavy weight and long runs, not as well. But that's just the mental training that you get. And I think the mental training that you get in college Division I wrestling is unlike anything that I've come across. And that changeover to CrossFit workouts it's really natural.
You've got my gears churning here on where this conversation is going. We're gonna revisit the scrap pack thing here as we finish up the show, because that's obviously the point of this episode. But you got me thinking about how CrossFit has become, it's a competitive situation for people. It's also become almost a lifestyle sport for people that want to work out, that don't want necessarily, okay, it's a workout, but they're making a competitive aspect about it. Jiu-jitsu has kind of become a lifestyle sport as people go in and they're working on positioning, and it's not as I guess intense in terms of its training regimen. There's a lot of workout, push pull, a lot of physical exertion there. But do you see an opening here through like maybe the CrossFit community that you've got in your gym that says wrestling can be a lifestyle sport? We just got to market it as such.
Yeah, absolutely. I once a week I coach down in further south Jersey, and I drive by this jiu-jitsu school, and I did it. It was Wednesday night, and I'm driving by, and I see it's a storefront little shop, and there's I'd say about 20 little kids doing forward rolls, doing the same exact warm up that we do, but they've just done a better job of marketing the longevity of jiu-jitsu. Like, you can do jiu-jitsu for your whole entire life. Whereas wrestling, it's almost like there's a stop at once you turn 18, or once you turn 22 or 23. For most people, it stops. I think a hybrid of it, wrestling and jiu-jitsu, their grappling, would be beneficial for anybody, like the people that are members of my CrossFit gym, to teach a slower method of wrestling. I think that wrestling at the Division I level, you just time out. You just can't you can't do it for forever. But for the general public, I think everyone should be able to defend themselves by, even so. I call it self-offense wrestling. So if you need someone attacking you better be able to control where it goes, just like you see in the MMA. But those are my thoughts on I guess the longevity of wrestling, or the marketing of wrestling as well.
Circling back to Scrap Pack, which is marketing wrestling, it is marketing it in a different way, and again, putting shirts on people, putting products in their hands. And where do you ultimately want to see this business go?
I want to see. I'm along for the ride. I want to just keep the customers happy. I want to make sure that I'm getting the gear that they want to see, or exposing the products that they could use. Maybe they don't know they could use it, or the products that they want to use, and I can get those in there. But I'd like to see it grow to a point where I can kind of give back. And my whole thing was, I said to my wife was a Division I swimmer and rider, and I said to her, there's guys on my team that showed up every morning, for morning workouts. They showed up for afternoon practices, traveled with the team, and some of those guys never got a shot to wrestle. They wrestled in a few open tournaments or whatever, but they never got a shot to actually take the mat with a rider singlet on and compete. And I said, those guys were valuable, like especially in a program like Rider, and they got no money. That I couldn't imagine showing up every single day, morning workouts, extra, one-on-ones and afternoon workouts without any kind of financial aid. And I said that to my wife, and I was like, I'm going to try and help those guys. I'm going to see if I can get this thing going so it's big enough that I could provide some sort of scholarship to a wrestler that needs scholarship to stay on the team, And I said, I can think of two or three guys right off the top of my head from college that just they grinded every single day and with no real reward in sight. They're probably better human beings now because of it, but that's what I want to give back to. So those type of wrestlers, the guys that you need, the guys that no one ever really sees how they do.
Starting with the marketing, I also wanted, for full disclosure, I have not received any payola or a scrap pack from Dave on this, nor have I'm not paid for this announcement. So I want to make that abundantly clear. This isn't a payola situation. So when it comes to the marketing, how have you tried to spread the word on this? I know I was added to your email list early going. I have no problem with that in terms of, that's how you get the word out. But how have you tried to get the word out through more organic means? I mean, word of mouth throughout your wrestlers and your club. But, where does the growth from a product like this really, really come from?
So I've started to actually attend tournament. I just got back from VAC Duels in Virginia Beach.
Ah, yes, the Virginia Challenge Holiday Duels, the zoo that tournament is. Oh, man.
Yeah.
I was there when that tournament started. I was a founding member of that organization. You want to know what organized chaos is. Whew. Those early meetings with seating meetings for those events were wild. Yeah,
I could imagine. But now, I mean, it's huge. They didn't have that stuff when I was younger. So I sent a couple teams from my club down to there's something very similar in Wildwood National Duels, and I know the guys that organize that just because they're South Jersey guys, and I've coached some of their kids, and but I went down to VAC for the first time, and I've coached a couple kids that have jumped on teams that they're wrestling down there, and it's insane. I met people that drove from Oklahoma to Virginia, and I was like, I thought I had a band driving straight down Route 1 and 13 from Jersey, but I couldn't imagine driving. But these wrestling parents are still the same. 20 years later, they'll go anywhere for their kids to get good competition. I met teams from Colorado, from North Dakota, from Idaho, you name it, California, and it was crazy. But I was able to link up with a couple people down there. I don't know. I can't measure the effect it had, but December was and I think because it's kind of gift based. I think December was our best growth, other than our initial subscription.
All right, we're going to have the fun portion of the program, short time on short time here. But again, one more time, scrappack.com. That's SCRAPPAC.com. Use the promo code MattTalk15. It'll save you 15% off your first subscription box. Again, information there. Also on Twitter at ScrapPack. So, Dave, we've got short time on short time, 10 questions in approximately 90 seconds. Are you ready for the challenge?
Sure. Fire away.
Question 1. Who's your favorite person to follow on Twitter?
Twitter, I like the wrestling mindset guy.
Of course, the jersey, the Zanetti, they got the feel. Question 2. You win the Olympic gold medal. What are you having for dinner?
My favorite is I just like a sausage, egg, and cheese on a wrap. That's my thing to get there.
You win the Olympic gold, you're going to have a sausage, egg, and cheese. I like the simplicity. Question 3. Who's the best wrestler people don't talk about?
Best wrestler people don't talk about. You know what? I came across an old video of Don Fish, and he should have been an NCAA finalist. He was my teammate. He should have been an NCAA finalist. I saw that video just the other day. First time in 15 years, I think.
Yeah, the rules. Him and Ryan Lang in the semifinals. That was. I've got it, and I tell you what, I'm still a little bitter about some of the old CAA wild card meetings. That year, Don Fish and Charles Griffin were all Americans. They left Ryan Williams home, and Williams eventually made the NCAA finals 2 years later.
Yeah.
They leave him home to take 4 74-pounders because everybody ran from Ben Askren. And I think Lucas ended up getting suspended, and then all the other 3 guys ended up going to combine 0-6. That turned out really well. I'm actually was kind of relieved that, as much as I hate the old CAA to go, that now that old seeding process is long gone. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. That's just my old my inner ODU alumni talking here. So back to the question. Question 4: your all-time favorite flavor of Gatorade?
Green Squall.
Ooh, first time we've had that as an answer. Question 5: favorite video game of
Actually,
all
you know
time?
what? That was a Powerade. Sorry. Video game. I never really got into video games, but I'll say Mad.
All right, well that's acceptable because that encompasses 93 to present day, so it doesn't totally make you a nerd. Question 6: favorite international wrestler to watch?
Right now, I gotta go with Burroughs.
Of course,
because of Jersey guy.
Well, American Jersey, that's the natural progression. So, new question that I'm throwing out at you for the first time. You're the first one to get this one. What teammate made you a better wrestler?
My teammate Ryan Cunningham, who was a good friend, and we battled every single day from freshman year of high school through senior year of college.
Question 8: who's one guy from history you'd like to wrestle, whether it be a historical figure, a wrestler, athlete, whoever?
I'd like to scrap with John Smith.
Second most common answer on this program, which is kind of strange. People want to wrestle him. Usually need to bring a bat or some nets or something. I don't know. Question 9: this one should be a no-brainer, being from South Jersey. Is it pork roll or is it Taylor ham?
Pork roll.
Oh, easy. Correct answer. And question 10: the best place to eat in South Jersey?
Best place to eat in South Jersey. Yeah, there's a nice little bar and grill in Bedford called Braddock's Tavern, and it's a nice grip place to grab a beer and grab a burger.
Beer, burger, Jersey. What's the ratio of hair product to beer drinking patrons? That's what I need to know, that because I need the Jersey experience. I don't necessarily need the Jersey Shore experience.
Yeah, that's the other side of Jersey. I'm down in woods and farmland, and the not that it's a good part of Jersey, but it's a different part of Jersey.
Right.
No hair product.
And that's something I want people to understand who listen to the show from the Midwest and they've seen only that particular show. There's a lot of different parts of New Jersey. The accents may differ a little bit. The mindset as wrestlers is all kind of similar. There's a lot of pride being from New Jersey. But when I went down to Sea Isle one weekend, and it was just dude, really? Or Belmar at that place called Bar A. I'm just these people actually exist. It was crazy. It was crazy. Anyway, whether or not Frank Molinaro's hair is that's a different story entirely.
You have to get Frank Yeager on the Casper down the Toms River guys, the Bar A people.
Yeah, Frankie's he's on the short list. He's a busy guy. But Dave, in the time we got left, why don't you just give us another pitch for Scrap Pack, what they can do, where they can find it, and again, hit that promo code up.
Yeah, it's a monthly subscription box for wrestlers, built just for wrestlers. Like I said, my job is to get the best gear, best apparel, accessories, nutrition products in a box delivered to your doorstep every single month until you say stop. You can get it at scrappack.com. There's an easy button that just click subscribe and then follow the prompts, fill your profile out. Make sure you get the right sizes, anywhere from youth sizes to adult sizes. And that'll come in your box. So you get the right size. You can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook at Scrap Pack Wrestle. So SUIPPAC and the word wrestle. And then we have that 15% off your first box, Matt Talk 15, MATTALK 15. All uppercase letters when you go to checkout. So just enter it in, get 15% off your first box, and cancel anytime. So,
Dave Miller, been a pleasure, man. Good luck with Scrap Pack and everything with the CrossFit, and of course the sausage, egg, and cheese wraps.
Yeah, thank you.
You are listening to the Short Time Wrestling Podcast with my daddy, Jason Bryant.
And Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year, Happy whatever the case may be here from my family here in blustery and chilly New Brighton. You know what the weather is because I tweet it every day. Of course, with that reminder to subscribe to the Short Time Wrestling Podcast. If this is your first episode, again, you'll hear this at the end of the show, but officially, if this is your first time listening to the program, welcome. As the intro said, talk about all things wrestling, news, reviews, previews, and interviews. One thing I'd like to get out there is it is the holiday season. It's holiday tournament season, so when you're on the go, hit with your new device. Make sure you go to your favorite podcast app, find the Short Time Wrestling Podcast and the Matt Talk Podcast Network. Hit subscribe, whether it be in iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker. I also like to use Overcast on my iOS device, although I'm really annoyed at my iOS device as of late because the charging ports kind of crapped out and the headphone ports barely working. I am battery life. It's just, I'm part of that. I'm starting to subscribe to that Apple conspiracy theory that their devices are starting to die. I've got the phone bill now to where both my wife and I's phones, we don't need to upgrade, but now they're almost forcing us to. So it's just, there's something there. There's something there. Anyway, thanks for listening each and every week. We are coming down on the close of 2017. Over 400 shows have been put out by the Matt Talk Podcast Network and our partners this calendar year alone. That's a lot. And what I'm looking for is a lot from a little, or a little from a lot in this case. If you like this network, this program, and I want to tell you a little story real quick as I clear my throat, which is Bad Podcasting 101. Turned down an advertisement last week. Had a pretty good CPM come through from a company that identified itself as somebody who thought that my listener base here on this show was something they were interested in. And it was a fairly decent chunk in terms of what CPM means. And it's cost per minute, which means I get a dollar amount per every 1,000 downloads this show got. And I could probably benefit by pushing these shows more on social media instead of, once, twice a week, putting them out and then, or I could just bog up my feeds. I could sit there and post it on Facebook constantly at the hopes of getting more people to listen so I could make an extra dollar. Well, I thought about it, thought about this show, thought about my listeners, thought about you, thought about what I want to hear from a podcast. So what do I do when I listen to podcasts? And like Joe Rogan Experience, love listening to Joe when he's got the guests that I care to jump in on, and Chael Sonnen Show as well, and a lot of ads, a lot of host read ads at the beginning of the show. Don't want to subject you to the same type of situations that me as a listener I don't like. And what are you going to get out of it? Let's just say that this particular company was aimed at selling health insurance. Now, it's aimed at people who live a better lifestyle in terms of those who work out and things of that nature. And I thought about it, and I'm like, well, I'm 245 pounds. I'm actually getting in better shape. I've been a lot bigger than that, but got the blood sugar under control. Got I eat healthy. I'm a big guy. Okay, I could probably stand to lose 20, 25 more pounds. But if you're going to sit there and hear a host read an ad from me telling you about health, that's just not genuine. And I'm not going to sell out the quality of this program to interrupt the show with an ad that may be a very good company, but it's not something you're going to listen to me. As soon as I read something that isn't genuine, you're going to see right through it. You're smarter than that. I know you are, and I'm smart enough to realize that you're going to see that for what it's worth. And some people don't like hearing fake ads. And you know what? It's not like I disagree with what this company stood for. It isn't. You're not going to listen to me for that type of advice. Now, being 245 pounds and being somebody who really likes to cook and somebody who likes craft beer and somebody who has quit using chewing tobacco and somebody who's quit all tobacco products entirely, well, there are certain things that you're probably going to listen to me because I have a history and experience in. I want to tell you how to quit tobacco. Sure, I've got a couple different things that I've used to help me there. If you want to know possibly the best craft breweries in Minnesota, I can tell you about that. If you want about cookware, I could probably tell you about cookware better than I can nutritional products. So that being said, I turned down money for advertising on this show. Part of that is, again, my reputation, this show's reputation. You know, I'm not going to just put an ad out there. Oh, yeah, give me money, I'll put you an ad out. No, I got to believe in the product. I've got to believe that you're going to believe that I believe in the product. So turn down the money, and part of that is this show is listener-supported. There are, about 40 of you that listen to this show and contribute monthly. 40. Thank you. I am hold mad respect and much love for that contribution. You know, there's other ways to compete for your entertainment dollar in sport of wrestling, and I'm very happy that you've chosen that the Matt Talk Podcast Network, the Short Time Wrestling Podcast, the Hall of Fame Legend Show, the family of shows are something you feel is worth your money. So that is, again, I hate doing a sales pitch, but if you're out there and you listen to these shows repeatedly and you sit there and like, yeah, okay, I like this. This is worth listening to. Well, online tip jar essentially is what it is. A donation, if you will, at matttalkonline.com/contribute. Patreon was about to do something and then they reversed it, so you're still good with Patreon. PayPal is also acceptable. Or if you just want to write a check, send me an email. I'll send you an address, and you can do it that way. And I'm not going to beg for your money every single episode. No. I just want you to know that I am not going to junk up the show with ads about mattresses and HelloFresh, which, again, I like. I use HelloFresh, but that's not relevant. That's not why you listen. If there's something that's relevant to this show, and I think the Scrap Pack, for example, now they don't advertise with me. Now, if they do, that is a product, for example, that I feel the wrestling community can get a benefit from. So using this show, this previous episode as an example of the type of product I would be happy to bring you. If All Force Nutrition down in Minnesota, they want to do something. They sponsored the T-Row and Funky show for a little bit. Defense Soap, they sponsor the World Wrestling Resource show. Not every single one of these shows that I do on this network has a financial backer. This one and the Short Time Shots, which is, that somewhat daily thing, they're not advertised. They're not supported through advertising dollars. Compound Clothing hits me up with some gear. And if you are actually a patron of the show, you know the quality gear that they get. So you contribute to the program. You're going to get some cool stuff from Compound. You're not going to get junked up with ads, and you're going to make sure that this show is listener-supported, not going to be swayed by any advertiser or relationship with a sponsor. Like even Cliff Fretwell down at Compound knows that there are some players in the space that have been good to me over the years that are competitors of his. For example, like Blue Chip Athletic. They're in the same space. They've both been great companies to me. I'm not going to sit there and pit one against the other. I order shirts from Blue Chip. I order shirts from Compound. It doesn't matter in regards to good companies are going to get good respect on this show. And I'm not going to just shove something down your throat because I'm getting $10, $20 a show for it. So that's my plea. A promise in 2018, a New Year's resolution, if you will. Promote the show with the same honesty and integrity that I have done it since the beginning, since 2013 when I started. Not to junk up this show with unnecessary advertisements. If there is an advertiser or company out there and you like this program and it fits with what you, the listener, would like to hear, if that's something that's going to be a beneficial element or beneficial product to the listener, then, yeah, I will happily consider the advertising. In the meantime, you want a clean show, clean interviews, quality content, on-demand content, unique content you cannot find anywhere else. MattTalkOnline.com/contribute. That is why my one New Year's ask, my one New Year's resolution is maybe that each listener to this show throws $1 a month my way. That is to help with the hosting. That is to help with offset of the time it takes to do the show and the time that newsletter. That newsletter is over 900 people. They get it daily, with the exception of Christmas. I did take Christmas off from Mini News. So producing thousands of links for you to read, hundreds of shows for you to listen to. I'm not charging you a cent, and I'm not bogging you down with bad reads that are irrelevant to what you as a listener want to talk about. Yeah, I'm getting off on a little soapbox, a little soliloquy here, a little monologue. not quite suitable for Saturday Night Live. But just know that I care about what you care about. I care about providing you a great listener experience. Not all my shows are stellar. Not all my interviews are great. But you know that there's going to be a level of professionalism. There's going to be a level of quality control. There's going to be a level that's going to keep the BS out of things when it comes to all the extra stuff that comes with a podcast or this show. Know that. MattTalkOnline.com/contribute. Hope you have a great 2018. I am headed to the Midlands to announce that championship tournament. It is at the Sears Center in Hoffman Estates this year. So if you go to Evanston, you're going to be in the wrong place, the Midlands. And we will have all sorts of fun from there. I might do some short time shots, might do some interviews from there, depending on how long these sessions go. And from my family to yours, from Lucy and Ruby upstairs playing, and my wife Abby, who is a saint for putting up with me doing all this type of stuff. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and we will see you in Chicago. And if not, you'll see me around. And thank you for spending your time with me, because as we go, you've always got time for Short Time. The Short Time Wrestling Podcast is proudly outfitted by Compound Clothing. Shirts, singlets, custom gear orders, everything you need. Call up Cliff and the crew at cmpteamwear.com. First time listening? Well, you can change that by going to matttalkonline.com/get-short-time to subscribe on Apple Podcasts or listen on your favorite podcatcher at matttalkonline.com/listen.
This show is part of the Matt Talk Podcast Network. For more wrestling podcasts, head over to matttalkonline.com.